Good evening everybody, Calm Biker here on a lovely pleasant Monday evening. I've got Chris behind me on his CB500X and we're off to do some lanes. I've plotted a route into the Beeline app of about 50 miles, of which probably 40 are lanes that I haven't yet filled in on my challenge map, link in the comments below. And we thought we'd take advantage of the light nights, get that ride done. And I say I've put it in the Beeline app, which I've been grumbling about recently. Well, recently I've put the video up, but it's probably quite a few videos back that I was grumbling about the Beeline. Not the app, but the Beeline Moto. And you might notice something a little bit different in front of me there. I got that fed up with the Beeline Moto, I decided I needed an alternative, and I thought about a few different things like the Car Pure Ride, whatever they call it. Jamie's got one on his ZX4RR that's another brand, I forget the brand, I think he forgets the brand as well, but another kind of standard Chinese style sat-nav screen. It still uses your phone for the actual sat-nav but presents you with a big colour screen. And I kind of like them for this bike. It looked good there, but not for the Z1000. It's just too big and bulky for the Z, I think. So I thought, well, I'll bite the bullet and I shall... That was interesting, it just disconnected. We'll see what happens there then. Is that my first glitch? But I'll bite the bullet and I shall purchase a Beeline Moto II. And I've been looking on eBay for a second-hand one for quite some time, bidded on quite a few and been outbid, and they tend to be selling for kind of 130, 140 quid used on eBay. And normally they're about £200, which is why they're kind of selling for that price. But I saw that Sports Bike Shop at the moment have got a little offer on, £50 off that price. I think they normally sell it themselves for about 180, but they were selling it for 149. So I thought, what the heck, I'll go for it, I'll buy one. So I've bought the Beeline Moto II and I'm giving it a test now, and although around that area something just happened and it lost its Bluetooth connection to my phone twice, very briefly, so far it has been remarkably better than the Beeline Moto. As I said in a video that I uploaded recently, but that will be, you know, a month ago by the time this goes up, the Beeline was just got to the point where I think it's just not fit for purpose for motorbikes. Might be fine for a bicycle, but for motorbikes it's just not there. This one seems to address all of the problems I've had with the first one. The first and the biggest one, as you can see, there is a map. So instead of with the Beeline Moto you just get an arrow that points in the direction that you should be going, and updates far too late when you get to junctions, and it also has a dot that shows you which direction your next turn's going to be in. So there might be a dot on the right hand side of the screen, and then you know that it's going to be a 90-degree turn to the right is coming up in a certain distance, and the distance would count down at the bottom. And that was it. And the problem with that is that when you've got complicated junctions, sometimes that dot isn't enough, and when you've got a couple of junctions, one immediately after the other, it doesn't update quickly enough to show you the second junction, so it's just luck whether you actually go the right way or not at that point. This solves it with that map. Little tiny map, problem's just gone away. I can now see a good few hundred yards ahead. I don't actually know how many yards ahead I can see on this, but quite a distance. So I can see which way I'm going to be going. Another problem that the Beeline had, I'll call it the Beeline or just the Moto, was that it never caught your attention. So quite often you would miss your turning entirely and then look down and see the arrow was pointing backwards. Sometimes it would just do that anyway without you missing a junction at all. This one's actually got a flashing light on when a junction's coming, and it is quite bright. I don't know if it's going to work well on the Z, because it's not going to be in my eye line, but there you go, it's flashed there to tell me that something's happening. Actually, all that's happening is I'm following the road round in this case, but it's catching your attention to let you know something's about to happen, which is good. Might be a bit late, but at least then you know you've missed it before you've gone another 5 miles up the road. It's also got a little speedo on that I've just noticed. I'm going a little bit over 20, so I better slow down for the 20. I don't think this is actually a legally enforceable 20, but we'll not take the chance there. It's got a little speed limit sign on it, so you know what speed you're supposed to be doing. It's still got the 1.5 miles to my next turning, but instead of a dot, it's showing me a turn right arrow, which is nice. You probably notice as well from that little 20 that's hopefully going to turn into a 40 in a minute. I'll look at it before it does, because it stops being red once you're under the speed limit. But it's showing you that it's got a colour screen, which is nice. The screen is bigger. I mean, the whole device is a little bit bigger. The screen actually fills the screen portion of the device now, whereas before it was only about an inch in the middle. And it's a colour screen, and it's not a backlit screen like the other one was. So at dusk the other one was a bit awkward, because it would start to get to the point where you couldn't quite read it, but the light hadn't come on yet, whereas this one's just bright all the time, so that's nice. So it's already massively better. One of the things that I noticed on the Moto as well was occasionally it would show you that there was a thing happening just up the road, and when you got to it there was no turning, and I think correctly surmised that was actually that it was a waypoint of the route, but it didn't tell you that. Whereas this one, when you're approaching one of your waypoints, you actually see a little dot appear on the route, and it shows you a number as well, which is the waypoint number that you're approaching. So that's quite nice too. And on waypoints, the other big thing, the one that got us when Chris and I went to the site of the Battle of Stamford Bridge, it was the video after that when we'd just left the battle site, where it took us round and round and round in circles, and we couldn't skip the waypoint. Once we'd actually worked out what it was doing and gone what we knew was the right way, it was desperate to send us back, and I found you could only skip a waypoint by getting your phone out of your pocket, which cost me stopping, not great on a motorway. Get your phone out of the pocket and then you can click next waypoint. This has a button you can press to skip a waypoint. So they seem to have addressed every annoyance that I had with it. Oh, it's gone red on me again. I must have gone over 40. Naughty me. So this is telling me in 0.2 I'm turning right, but I don't even need to worry about it, thinking about where the dot is and how far 0.2 is, because I can see there's no other junctions beforehand, and there's my turning to the right, and I can actually see it's quite a funny shape, this as well. It's going to turn and cut back on itself, I guess. So it does. And then go left again. Brilliant! It's like a proper sat-nav. So it's a bit of a revelation, this one, over the Moto. I wish I'd bought this one the first time, but I was being Yorkshire, and yeah, for Chris Lone Wally, yes, I would have had to take out a mortgage for it, or made sure my mortgage was in order. You cheeky git. That's a reference to the Slow Rider Social Ride, which was a cracking ride. Thanks again, Slow Rider. But yeah, it's just better in every way. Well, there's one way in which it's not better. It didn't come with a GoPro mount like the other one did, so I'm either going to have to buy a GoPro mount, or GoPro GoPro to mount so I can connect it to my RAM mount to GoPro, or I'll have to buy a RAM mount for it if such a thing exists, or I might just print one out on my one of my 3D printers. So that's not as good, but in every other way it's just miles better. The map thing has already solved a problem for me tonight. The start of the route, I wasn't sure where we were going to end up meeting up, so I did the start of the route from just near the south of Beverley, and I did it all online when I planned it and then sent it to my phone. and I didn't realise that it had put the start point in the car park of Lidl, which meant as we got to Lidl it actually popped up and showed that I needed to take the fourth junction on a roundabout, which I thought that's an odd junction for me to take when I know I need the first junction on this roundabout. So I looked at it, and on the original Moto it would have just had an arrow pointing in some random direction with a dot near it, and I'd have been scratching my head and not having a clue what it meant. But I could see on the map immediately where it thought that was. I could see a little symbol that showed you it was the start of the route, and I could see that it was trying to get me into the car park. So I just ignored that and rode past, and I didn't even need to skip the waypoint. It immediately realised that I was going past and heading off on my ride, so it just dealt with it. So yeah, this is leagues ahead of the old one. Quite often when you get a new device, you know, the version 2 or whatever version number, where it's gone up one, there's just some minor little improvements. This is like a completely different device altogether. And yeah, so far, and yeah, my mind might change like it did with the Moto if something bad happens, but so far it hasn't seen me wrong. Has he stopped? Or am I stopping? I think he stopped. Yeah, it hasn't seen me wrong so far. So I'm made up with it so far. It's very kind of you, Audi driver as well. Thank you. So yeah. So definitely big improvement. Just need to sort out the mount for the Z, because the rubber band mounts don't really cut it. Anyway, I'll wrap this one up here. I won't make it into a huge video like I did with the first one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Ride safe, and I'll talk to you all again soon.